Okay, so Comedy by Burnham, one of my favorite songs of these past few years. I love it. It starts on D minor, and going from D minor, we're lowering the D to C sharp, giving us C sharp augmented or F augmented or A augmented, whichever way you wanna conceptualize it. But it's not really useful to think of it as an augmented chord that much. It lowers even more, because all we're doing, we've got these notes and then a chromatic line. And just considering it to be a chromatic movement is more accurately represents what's actually going on and what you're actually experiencing, what your ear is experiencing. So going from D to an augmented chord, the world is changing, the planet's heating up, what the F is going on at G7th. And what this basically is a movement to the 4 chord in the key, or in the, if we consider D to be D Dorian, right? So it's not general D minor, it's a little bit brighter than general D minor. Otherwise we would have, the world is changing, the planet's heating up, what the F is going on. That's a bit darker than what he does, right? It's a bit brighter. So we got G7 there, but it's just the 4, the major 4. I think he does that. That's going from the 7th chord to a secondary dominant, or actually a diminished chord replacing our secondary dominant. It's the diminished, the dim substitution. Again, I'll have a video about this, I'll link it. Going back to the 1. Rearranging, it's like everything happened all at once. What the F is going on? Not sure, but I think he does F over A, so the bass voice leads up to B flat. And people rise and see in the streets F. The war, D minor, the drought. The more I look, the more I see nothing to joke about. Is comedy over? Should I leave you alone? Cause really, who's gonna go for joking at a time like this? Should I be joking at a time like this? I wanna help leave this world better than I found it. It just keeps going for a long time in the same chord scheme. Should I stop trying to be funny? Should I give away my money? A secondary dominant leading to D minor. Sort of, you know, this really sounds like the key of F major. Even though we were in the key of D minor, this whole chord scheme kind of puts us in D major. Arguably, you could say B flat Lydian, but I honestly don't. I feel this like 4, 5, 1, 6. That's what it feels like to me, and that's how, at least in pop music, this would often be conceptualized. So going to this A dominant to D minor kind of establishes D minor back as a tone center for a second. It gives us a strong resolution towards D minor, right? What it also does is emphasize, should I give away my money? Which is, you know, a philosophical point he's making there. No. Should I give away my money? No. What do I do? Leading to a Moldur chord. Again, I will link it to a video where I explain this stuff, but this is basically the 4 minor 6th chord, right, in the key of F. So we're using B minor with a major 6th. You could see it as G half diminished over B. That's what he's playing. Okay, then we get the part where with the bright light, with, you know, it's implying a message from God. Healing the world. I'll play it low. Comedy, making a literal difference, metaphor. metaphorically. The chords are just a little bit different, right? He's starting on D minor. He then going to C, which leads us to F. So C would be the dominant for F, but we do start on D minor, and we just established D minor as key center. So here, to me, more feels like 1, 7, 3, 7, 6, or sorry, 4. We're going to G minor in this case, the 4 chord in the key of D minor. Healing the world with comedy, making a literal difference metaphorically. And for the first time in this song, during God's message, we end up on the chord of E flat. Now, you could say this is the Neapolitan 6th chord, which is a very specific construction in classical music that's not being used here, but you could say this chord is derived from it. However, I think it's more accurate to conceptualize this as the key of F major now, where E flat is borrowed from the relative minor, from F minor. And then moving to B flat and moving to F is just such a cliche. I mean, there are plenty of songs using chords in this way. So, what do we get? Healing the world with comedy, making a literal day. Hard to understand, I can't remember the words. The hard to understand power of your comedy. This world needs direction. In the world with comedy. Okay, then we get this part. Same chords as that we just had. So that's the only difference. We're going from D to C to F, back to C, and then instead of just going to G, it's going to go B flat and G consecutively. We're going to do that a couple times. He says a few words, then we get the kick drum on every beat, the 4 on the floor. He world with comedy in a literal difference metaphorically. A Jew walks into a bar and I saved him a seat. That's healing the world with comedy. Yeah, I'm a special kind of white guy. Okay, so it does this bass walk, which is going to F, but it's not quite long enough. So he does special kind of white guy. I'm reflected and I want to be an agent of change. So maybe I will use my privilege for the good. Very cool, way to go, American white guy. We've had the floor for at least 400 years. So maybe I should just shut the fuck up. Okay, so I said it anyway. Still using the same chord progression. And it's going to repeat for a long time. And later on in the song, we do get if you wake up in a house that's full of smoke, don't panic, call me and I'll tell you a joke. If you see a white man dressed in white clothes, don't panic, call me and I'll tell you a joke. Okay, so what he does here, again the same 4 chords, but again he's changing the order in which they're being played. We've had a version starting on B flat, going to C, going to F, and then D minor. We've had a version starting on D minor, going to C, going to F, going to C, going to, well, subdominant, whether it's B flat or G minor. And now we have a version going from B flat to F, to C, to D minor, C, B flat, F. So he's recycling the same chords, but by changing the order in which they appear, he's kind of changing the function of such a bit of harmony. Like this is subdominant, dominant, tonic. It's a journey that clearly establishes the tonic. What he does now is is descending in fifths, basically. Na, na, na. And then the only other place he has left to go from this dominant chord is go to the replacement for a tonic, because going to the tonic again would be too, it wouldn't give us enough new information, it would be kind of boring. So it goes to the median below the tonic, and then we start over. So it's a great song, recycling the same chord progression in different ways, using the secondary dominant in a special place and using the seventh chord from the relative minor to introduce a new vibe and a different kind of, I guess it introduces some hopefulness, I guess. So that's Comedy by Burnham.